Hello and welcome. My name is Adjoa Dotsie. I'm a career strategist, a senior leader in corporate America, and the founder of the renowned Destiny 7-Step Career Success Framework. And today's episode is all about possibilities and how you can reach your possibilities and explore your possibilities so that you're better positioned, better poised to create a multiple six-figure career that you're inspired by and adds meaning and contribution to the world. Today's episode is inspired by the most recent Barbie commercial. So if you have not had the privilege of watching this commercial yet, absolutely make sure you make that happen right away. And for your convenience, I'm sharing a link to the video right underneath this video at the site on adjoadotsie.com. But for those of you who haven't seen it, basically Barbie sets a new standard for us and a new level of inspiration as she explores the limitless possibilities that our young girls really need to explore so that they can reach their ultimate career potential. And it reminded me of my years playing with all my Barbie dolls. I was a huge Barbie fan. So for those of you who know me, I'm sure that's not even a little bit of a surprise. I had Barbie Dream House, I had the Barbie Townhouse, I had all these different occupations of Barbie. I even had a Barbie history book. I was all Barbied out. Loved Barbie. And what I loved about her was that she was so incredibly comfortable in her femininity. She obviously was a very beautiful doll, but she was so successful and she was so adventurous in everything that she did. And she was a physical manifestation to me of the messages I'd always heard from my family, which was that I could be and do absolutely anything that I wanted to be and do. But what's interesting is that over the years, that message, that connection that I have with Barbie absolutely dwindled. And it dwindled as I got older, reached adolescence, and became an adult, and heard so many different negative images around Barbie. And what now I see is that it's so amazing how we focus so much on what Barbie looked like and use that as such a negative in terms of the influence that she had on little girls, instead of looking at all of these wonderful things that she was doing to help empower us. Barbie had over 150 unique careers. In the 1980s, she was a CEO, just as women in our world were breaking into the C-suite. In the 1990s, she became a president, long before we ever had a female presidential candidate. In the 1960s, she actually was an astronaut and reached the moon 4 years before Neil Armstrong. And yet, when we talk about Barbie, we talk about how large her bust is and how little her waist is. So Barbie and Mattel are now changing the conversation and are now talking about how Barbie can influence little girls all over the world to explore the limitless possibilities in front of them. So my question for you is, what would you do if you had limitless possibilities? And you do obviously have limitless possibilities, but if you knew that you had limitless possibilities, what would you do? What would you become? And that is such a daunting question, right? And we dream of so many different things within our career, and limitless possibilities just conjure up something you dream of doing. But when you answer that question for yourself, I actually want you to go through an activity that comes from bandbossy.com. And it's an activity that's being shared with young girls and young women all over the country right now to make sure that they, just like you, are exploring this idea of limitless possibilities and know what to do so that it doesn't seem so daunting. So as you're answering the question for yourself, what would I do if I knew I had limitless possibilities? I want you to think about your ultimate dream, but I also want you to chunk it up into sizable goals that you can attain. Goals and dreams, as you know, are very different. Goals help you reach your dream, but goals are more concrete, they're more specific, they can be attained within a specific time frame, and they help you reach ultimately your limitless possibility, your ultimate dream. And today, I want to talk to you about goal setting and how you can use your goal setting to reach your ultimate limitless possibility. So I want you to think about your limitless possibility, and then I want you to backpedal and think about what things you need to accomplish in order to make that happen. So to use something as an example, if you have an idea or a dream or ultimate vision to be, let's say, the first female executive at your company. Before you can get there, you've got to lead people. So maybe your goal is, I want to lead a team And ultimately, that'll help me get closer to being the first female executive at my company. So leading a team or getting a job leading a team can be a smaller goal. And it's a goal that you can accomplish in about a year. Now, even within goals, there are steps that need to happen. So applying for the job, making sure that you're boosting your leadership skills. There are different steps that need to happen in order for you to accomplish that goal. And sometimes those steps can seem incredibly large and massive and daunting and insurmountable. But through BAMBossy.com and the activity that I'm going to talk to you about, you can establish zones, risk zones for each of the steps within your goal, because it can be scary, it can be daunting to accomplish this big goal, but sometimes big goals are so necessary in order to propel us towards our ultimate dream and make sure that we reach that possibility that we didn't think that we could. Now, when it comes to risk zones, I want you to think about your goals in steps, and I want you to put your steps into one of 3 risk zones. So comfort zone is the lowest level of risk, right? So it's totally something you're used to. It's so well within your realm, piece of cake. It's your comfort zone. And then risk zone number 2 is low risk. So yes, you get a little bit nervous, but you still think you can make it happen. But then risk zone number 3 is high risk. So if I take this step, there is high risk. I might be embarrassed. I might fail. I'm completely terrified to do it, but I know that it's necessary. Put your goals and the steps, rather, to accomplish your goals in one of those 3 risk zones. And I want you to write it all down, take a step back, and I want you to make a commitment that you are going to accomplish whatever step first makes you the most comfortable. So that might be your comfort zone. You may be balls to the wall and say, I want to go high risk right out of the gate. You do what makes you comfortable. But by putting your steps into those 3 different risk zones, you are able to set goals that are much more attainable and help you crawl a little bit before you walk, so that even if you do fail, you know that you're setting yourself up for long-term success, because even the smallest of failures, sometimes the biggest of failures, can be our most incredible learnings. So as you are exploring this idea of limitless possibilities and what you would do, I really encourage you to go through this activity and just make it a little bit easier for you. In the text underneath this video or on this post, I have included the link to the worksheet at bambossy.com and leanin.org so that you can get your hands on the worksheet to make sure that you can set goals that are absolutely real and attainable and that identify these 3 different risk zones. So I'm so happy that you and I are talking about this topic today. I really encourage you to watch that video. Again, I'm making it super easy for you to get your hands on it because it's right here in this post as well. And I cannot wait to see you at next week's episode. So if you're digging the topics that we talk about and you like what I have to say, I absolutely encourage you to tell other people about the amazing things that we're doing here in the community at ajuadodzie.com. But I also want you to share your thoughts. I want you to talk to us and the other members in the community about the limitless possibilities, ideas about social norms, and what might have been stopping you before that's not going to stop you now when it comes to achieving your ultimate vision. I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud to have you here with me today, and I encourage you to please go out into the world today and act with conviction, be courageous, and live joyfully every single day. Can't wait to see you next week and hear all about your goal setting towards your limitless possibilities. Have a wonderful day. Bye.